Learning how to have accountability to yourself can be very disruptive to your present life. I was once in an accountability group and we met every week very faithfully. And we had all of our goals written down. We had our sub goals, our OKRs. We met every week. We talked about them. We had to provide an accounting of what we did that week. We had to provide an explanation of why we didn't do what we said we were going to do. And we were very committed to it. And we literally showed up that way for about 2 years. Now, we were so focused on thinking that this accountability was going to help us manifest the things that we wanted to see in our lives, that we didn't understand that this accountability was actually going to first disrupt our lives in a very major way. It was going to expose the blocks, the things that we were not doing but said we wanted to do. It was going to basically expose our crazy. Little did we know that our accountability group was going to expose our crazy. It was going to expose the unproductivity of our daily lives. It was going to expose that we were our own blocks to the things that we said we wanted. We were the blocks to preventing us from being who we said we wanted to be. It was going to also expose that we were not as clear about the things that we wanted as we pretended to be. It was going to pull the veil of pretense from our eyes and cause us to see truth about ourselves. Some of us had jobs that we hated, that we needed to walk away from. Some of us had to face financial realities that we needed a job. Some of us also had family dynamics that needed to be addressed or changed. Some of us had career paths and side dreams and goals that needed to be adjusted. Some of us had relationships that needed to be let go. Some of us had to diverge from our coaching careers because we had to come to a place of truth that what we were doing wasn't working. And it wasn't that we were not consistent. It's just that we were consistently doing what was consistently not working, and we had to face some hard truths. And we had to adjust the things that we said we wanted, adjust our goals, modify our plans. We had to ask some hard questions of ourselves. Every week, we could show up and say we were going to be able to do A, B, C, and D. And then the next week comes around and we ask, well, did you do A? And we're like, no. Did you do B? No. Did you do C? No. Did you do D? No. Why? And then after a while, when you start to realize that you're not doing what you said you wanted to do, then you had to face a hard truth, right? You had to actually ask yourself some hard questions about whether or not this is really what you want, or does this just sound good for you? Because a lot of times we say we want something, but it's not that we really want it. It's that it sounds good to us because it looks good on others. Not realizing that what you see on others was the result of them doing significant inner work on themselves. It was the result of them seeking clarity of mind. They made changes in the way they thought about things, changes in how they showed up, changes in their mental processes, changes in their thoughts and behaviors. That what you saw and admired that looked good on them, that sounded good for you, took a lot of work and was going to take a lot of changes that you were not willing to make. You are sometimes not aware of the processes that these people go through to make the adjustments in their lives to show up the way that you see them now. They change their behavior, they change their thoughts, they change their feelings and how they handle their emotions. They learned how to be who you see. We just see the result of them showing up that way as opposed to the inner work that they took themselves through and are still taking themselves through to be able to show up that way. So it sounds good for us to be like them, but it may not be that we want to put the work in to be that way, put the effort in to be that way. It may be that we don't have the will or the desire to actually put forth the effort to show up how we say we want to be. I could say I want to be a charismatic thought leader. That sounds good on me, and it looks good on others. But do I want to put the work in? Am I willing to put the work in to be that way, to be that person? And when you engage in accountability, it really does force your hand to be a truth-seeking person. When it requires for you to be truth-seeking in who you are being. Accountability forces you to be truth-seeking in who you are being. And then it's what you want. And you may find as time moves forward that it's not really what you want, that you may not be ready for it. You may have to regroup, and you may have to go away from it for a while, go back to a job, forget about being a thought leader, forget about being a motivational or transformational leader, forget about being a coach or a speaker or whatever it is that you may have thought that you wanted to do or to be. Forget about it being a best-selling author. You may have to let that dream go for a while and regroup. You regroup and you come back to it later, or you may not come back to it at all. You may find that it was just something that sounded good, but you are not willing to do the work on yourself to make that a reality for your life. You know, some of us like to be miserable. That's truth. Some of us like to complain. Some of us like to be stuck in unproductive habits because a lot of times we're unaware that we're in unproductive habits, or we're unwilling to do the inner work to expose these unproductive habits that's not serving us. And some of us like to live in fear. Some of us like to be afraid of the tomorrows. You know, some of us like to be scared. For some of us, being scared allows us to hold on to our crutches so that we never have to walk in the face of our fears. And these are all truths that you will have to face when you take accountability for what you're doing and what you're not doing. When you take accountability for what you say you want to be or for what you say you want to do, you have to take accountability for your show up. When you take accountability for your feelings and your emotions, you learn to take accountability for your life. Accountability will disrupt your life. Learning to take accountability will help to provide the clarity you need in your mind to clear up the fog so that you can utilize all of what's happening in your life to manifest who you want to be. Because isn't that what it's all about? Isn't it about manifesting the life that you want to live today? Manifest the person that you want to be today.